What first sparked your interest in apologetics?
So I was 12 years old when my pastor did an apologetic series from the pulpit. He did, the first one was Liar, Lord, Lunatic. That's the trilemma by C.S. Lewis, where it looks at who was Jesus. Did he think he was God and he was just crazy? Did he know he wasn't God and he was lying about it? Or was he actually Lord? And I think since then we've actually got another L that's developed, which is legend, that people like to say, oh, he didn't start out this way, but legends grew from that. So he went through the Liar, Lord, Lunatic. He went through the evidences for the resurrection and went through every single alternate explanation that a skeptic has ever given, and kind of debunked how that really didn't make sense. You'd have to check your brain at the door more to believe one of these other explanations than it would take to just believe that Jesus did what he said he did and rose like he said he did. And then the reliability of the New Testament manuscripts. And I remember at 12 years old, my pen just scribbling as fast as it could possibly, go, thinking, this is like real, this is true. This isn't just something I'm being taught. This isn't just something that we like, that works for us. This is like, this actually happened. And that was kind of a bit of a revelation for me. And I would say no matter what I've gone through in my life, I've struggled with depression, I've had cancer multiple times, I've lost my sister from cancer, my mom had cancer, you name it. My husband and I don't have children. No matter what has come, I always go back to is this true? And so in that sense, I don't evaluate things based on how I feel about it, or whether or not it's working for me, that the Lord has allowed my faith to stay strong because I said, no, this is true. That means I need to bend to it, not it doesn't need to bend to me. And I thought if we could prepare more parents to be able to give their children this kind of foundation, man, that is going to curtail so much of what we're seeing with youth walking away from the church when all they have is an emotional experience that leaves the second the emotions aren't there anymore. Or if they have all my authority has told me all this, well, now once they go off somewhere else where you have new authority and they're telling me something totally different, if all they knew is I believe this because authority says so, what do you do when they change authority? Being able to evaluate for themselves, I think, is the number one way to keep them. Even though it doesn't make Christianity easier, it makes it to where it's harder to walk away because you can't unknow what you know.
Right. I think that kind of leads into your journey to getting to Mama Bear, which you've touched on a little bit, but talk a little bit more about your journey too.
Yeah, I remember the Bible study or the Sunday school with the lady and thinking, oh my gosh, what is that? That's a Mama Bear right there. I had another woman who was involved with a group that is now Women in Apologetics, where she made me aware that there was a large demographic of women who wouldn't read something unless it was written by women for women, which in one of my previous stories, I talked about how I was always comfortable with guys. And so this had never even occurred to me. And so I went right past who's equipping the women to who's equipping the moms. And so I had about a week of sleepless nights where, I don't know if you ever have this, where you just have so many ideas bouncing around in your head and you're like, I thought if I can just write this down, then I can get them out of my head and I can go to sleep. Well, I had about a week where I filled almost an entire notebook that basically detailed out this whole ministry. And I remember thinking, because we kind of suspected that we wouldn't be able to have kids because of my health problems. And so I said, okay, Lord, I'm supposed to go commission someone to do this. Who is it? Just point them out to me and I'll go do it. I'll tell them. And I was really surprised that I felt like the Lord saying, guess what? It's you. And I thought, well, no one's going to listen to me because I'm not a mom. And I felt like the Lord kind of said, well, you have something moms don't have, which is time to research. And so I decided that if my form of motherhood was going to be helping to prepare other moms and to do the work that they didn't have time to do, then that was me being the best mother that I can be. And so I've had some moms come up and say, I feel like you're my Mama Bear. I'll get choked up just because it's been such a blessing to work to moms and to feel like I've been able to take that grief and channel it in a way that I have spiritual children one day.
That's right.
So,
That's
and
right.
I'm honored to be able to serve in this
That's
way.
right. That's right. And when you think that I can't be used, the Lord always says, oh no, I have other plans for you. And I think that is so neat in your story and just how the Lord led you to doing this ministry, you know, and like you said, you don't know the people that you're reaching. You hear from a lot, but you don't know until you get to heaven the ones that you have reached, which is really cool.
Coming from someone who almost hung out exclusively with guys to having a ministry that's almost exclusively women has been I kind of joke about this. It's kind of a Paul kind of situation where there's no way I would have done this on my own. The Lord had to really reroute me and put me on the path, and I'm really glad that he did, because it has just been an awesome journey.
Yeah, for sure.